No warning, just recording, Will.
We're live
We're No, not live.
or being recorded.
We're recording. The pod
live.
has started.
Yeah. Our words are going to live forever as of 20 seconds ago.
Yep. Until the apocalypse. Then.
And maybe even after.
Ooh, what if this podcast is the only thing that survives the apocalypse?
Yeah, historians will find it and be like, how did they do this for 5 years without getting any better?
Talk about a lack of progress. These two idiots.
Progress in the wrong direction. Gradually worse.
This is a great example of why civilization fell. 2 men refused to change the way they would do things.
Not true, though. Technically, changes this week, right?
Ooh, yes. We got Let's Talk Broncos coming in. We got Mario coming in at some point. We're going to spice this baby up. I'm Brandon Purdy here with Will Keys. We're going to talk Broncos, Cardinals. We got a preseason game. Some things happened in this game that are more interesting than I imagined. So something fun to talk about today. Kicking, Russell Wilson, offensive line. Who maybe stood out that we didn't expect. We'll get into it. We'll break it all down for you today. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, though, Underdog Fantasy. Code Let's Ride when you sign up at Underdog. About a month left to sign up for their Best Ball Mania tournament. Link is in the description there. Best Ball Mania. You pick a team once, and then they tally your best score every week all year long. And if you get in to the playoffs towards the end of the season, you got a chance to win $3 million to first place, $15 million total prizes. So there's a ton of tiers where you can win money there. And Colorado just made it legit to play the pick'em games higher or lower. So you stack 4. In Colorado, you got to have at least 4 different players that you're picking higher or lower on their stat totals for the game. I did it for the preseason for the Broncos. I was half and half. Grossi has already won twice, but really exciting to do this for Broncos games every week. It'll be a fun way to just look at what they're looking at. Samaje Perine's going to do week 1. What's Russell Wilson going to do week 1? And we'll see how smart we are. I'm guessing we'll probably win all the money. We'll never be wrong and crush it. So let's ride. Link in the description. I'll probably post some of those pick'ems here on this YouTube channel throughout the course of the season. And also we got benchwarmerbrew.com if you like coffee. That's where I sell it. Will, first thing from this football game that occurred between the Cardinals and Broncos. We streamed half of it together.
Yeah.
Then you left. Then we saw Ben DiNucci play. People got excited for the Nooch. What was your main takeaway from it all?
Yeah, I think the most concerning development from this game was the offensive line or lack thereof.
Yep.
Garrett Bowles didn't look good.
No.
And I think it kind of it sullied what was actually a pretty good showing from Russell Wilson otherwise.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes. Outside of I think the reality is he slims down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to make him vintage Russ, right? Like we saw the same thing we saw last season, and it was an early sack, but he rolls out and he's trying to reverse out away from pressure, and he just gets sacked. And I just feel like that was the play. So many times you saw him escape. Last year, we definitely saw him take a lot of sacks that way. Loses weight this offseason, looks trimmers in better shape, all that shit. I don't think that dynamic part of his game is ever going to come back. So that does make what the line looked like in this game early on in this week 1 of the preseason more concerning. And we talked about, it was 2 weeks ago where we said we're assuming Garrett Bowles is going to be good coming back from this injury.
Yeah, I think you said exactly that.
I'm not like trying to single out Garrett Bowles yet because he missed all last. I think he had a broken leg. We guessed ACL, but I think it was a broken leg or some shit last year.
We're not doctors. We're not doctors.
We're not doctors. Basically, to me, the knee and the brain, it's all, I can't tell a difference.
No.
Regardless, it's his first game back. I'm gonna give him a little time, but it's not like Garrett Bowles in his Broncos debut, his first season or two, was elite, right? It was
correct. Yeah.
It was the problem. And then he has one incredible season, gets the extension, and then it's been just kind of hurt since then, basically. So yeah, that is a big question mark. McGlinchey didn't play.
Yep.
So maybe that's a bit of an upgrade when he comes back. But I think it's going to take a little bit of the line in pass protection. I thought they were much better run blocking.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you tweeted it at some point or tweeted a clip of we kind of saw why Adam Troutman is the starting tight end because Greg Dulcich and Alberto are not making those blocks that he made, and they're not springing big runs. And he's going to do that at the expense of a little bit of receiving production from the tight end position. They'll find ways to get Dulcich on the field. Yeah. Who knows if Alberto even makes the team, honestly, at this point, because you still have Chris Manhertz, who we didn't see on Friday. But there's only there's only so many spots. There's only so many snaps for a tight end. I don't know how much they're going to be running two tight ends, or they're going to be flexing Dulcich out, either in the slot or out wide. I hope they do because he's obviously a really talented receiver. But based on what they want to do in that offense, it's going to require a lot of Troutman.
Yeah. I think, too, like, we saw Samaje Perine have a couple nice runs. One where he looked like Javonte Williams, one where he just busted a nice 10 or 11-yard run. I think what we didn't really get to see with that starting offense is what it looks like when the run game is working, is consistent, right? It felt like they were pass heavy early, and I think that's Sean Payton and the offense trying to work through some things, you know what I mean, versus like what the offense really is going to look like. I think you might see a lot more running from the first string offense early in the game, but maybe Sean Payton's like, look, I feel like we've got a better grasp of the run game and how this is going to work. We need to work on these other things in the passing game. And I think the overreaction there is like, we can't pass block. We can't throw or do anything. Jerry Jeudy dropped a ball. Russell Wilson's washed, like all that bullshit. It took them a while to click. I'm not going to lie. And when they did click, who they playing against, we don't know in terms of depth on the Cardinals defense. But
the other Alex Singleton, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, that's right. His twin,
Alex Doubleton,
evil twin, whatever the fuck his name was.
It doesn't matter.
But and that's the other thing too. It's, the offense going to need time. It's another new system. So we'll give them that. All right. I want to see the longer sample size this next week. And I don't even mind that they played deep into the site. Like, it was a little embarrassing, right? You're like a little embarrassed as a Broncos fan. You're like, fuck, the only reason they're still out there is because they can't get shit right. And Sean Payton was waiting for him to put a drive together. But that's part of the preseason. That's when you do it. Like, this is okay time to suck.
Better now than week one.
Yeah.
I would say, it was strange last year. It was so strange because despite, only scoring like 16 points in that week one Monday Night Football opener at Seattle, the offense looked so much more fluid than it did later in the season until Rosberg got there. Despite not playing any preseason, I'm obviously glad that they're out there now. But I think one thing to your point, and running the ball is going to be so crucial because, even with Russ in better shape, you just kind of have to adapt to the new fact and new reality that he's just stop waiting for him to be 2020 Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And accept that he is a different quarterback and he might be a lesser quarterback. We hope not too much lesser. But design an offense that's going to play to his strengths and hide a lot of those weaknesses. And I think they showed that at points for sure.
I think it's about space. Like, it's getting guys into space. And I think that's what Sean Payton's going to focus on. And I think that's what Russ does well is
they did a couple times.
Yeah. You're moving guys, and there's like only one big like miscue or misconnect, and that's when he went deep to Sutton, and like Sutton stopped on the route, and maybe Russ had a better option to Dulcich or something on that play. But I think that's something regular season game. Maybe that works because Sutton's not giving up on the route, or you hope so. But that's that play, that was 2023 Sutton, not 2019 Sutton. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's 2023 preseason Sutton.
Yeah. And that's the difference between the narrative of this first preseason game is people were pissed because the Broncos offense looked bad versus last year, people were pissed because the Broncos didn't play any of their starters in the preseason and then lost week 1. So it's like, whatever happens, unless they're like utterly dominating.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think – here's why I don't like the preseason or the narrative around the preseason. Preseason's fine, but any like discourse about it is going to end up being negative. It's like the Ravens haven't lost a preseason game in 8 years.
Oh, my God. I had to dial back quote tweeting Chef.
It's like, okay, who cares? I don't think they even care necessarily. It's cool, I guess, but it doesn't indicate anything. They're a good team. They're a good team. They're not a good team because they play well in the preseason. They're just a good team, and they play well in the preseason.
Yeah.
You don't play your starters in the preseason, and people are going to be like, okay, well, they're not going to be ready in the regular season. And we go back and forth on that all the time. You do play your starters in the preseason, and they struggle because it's the preseason. They're figuring it out. And it's like, well, the season's over. And they do play well in the preseason. You're like, oh, okay, well, they're playing against, mailmen and plumbers, and they go down the Barry McCockiner, diatribe about how none of these players are worthy of being in the NFL in the first place. So you really can't win. So I like to watch the games and just avoid any sort of external commentary about them because it's never positive.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's like you told me to relax during the stream. And I said, I can't do that, Will, because the whole point of doing the stream is to overreact to every single play. And that's good or bad. That's it. That's entertainment purposes.
It's good for business.
It's good for business. It's also more fun to be excited about, like overly excited about a good play and get angry about a bad play.
No, it's fun in the moment, I think.
And once it's over, I'm done with it.
Forget about it. It doesn't matter.
Except for kicking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yesterday reminded me that the preseason for Twitter's over. I'm back in regular season football Twitter because during the game, I tweeted out an overreaction to the missed kicks by Brett Maher and Elliott Fry. And I said, cutting Brandon McManus looks real fucking stupid now, doesn't it? And I still kind of stand by that. But I was overreacting to that. But I also don't think you cut a veteran kicker in May or March or April or whatever the hell it was without a plan. And I get it. They're trying to make some money. I think that ultimately leads to Frank Clark. Can Frank Clark make more of an impact than Brandon McManus? Possibly. It depends on how close these games are for the Broncos. Now, and this is what doesn't make fucking sense to me. Okay, they sign Brett Maher, who misses all these kicks in a postseason game, which we talked about. Like, that's a place you do not want to see a kicker miss. Like, to me, that's a big red flag about he had a great season. I'm not saying he's not capable, but that's a clutch moment. Good kickers are made in clutch moments. McManus had perfect postseason during the Broncos 2015 run. You can criticize some of his misses in regular season, but guess what? The Broncos haven't fucking been back to the postseason since then, okay? But I do know when he was there, he was clutch, okay? So the argument, a lot of people started like tweeting that McManus made 77% of his field goals. I believe we talked about this. 2 of those field goals were 60-plus yard attempts. I think he was one of maybe 2 or 3 kickers asked to even kick over 60. Maybe the only one asked to kick multiple over 60-yarders besides Justin Tucker. Okay, that's going to fuck up your percentage. Then, yes, he missed like 1 or 2 kicks he should have made. On top of the Broncos changing long snappers mid-season last year, and I believe that messed up maybe 1 or 2 kicks. So, like, people telling me that I can't read a kicking percentage to evaluate a kicker and calling me – I don't know if they actually called me stupid, but I felt like they're calling me stupid. So, like, throwing that 77% in there. Yeah. And then what I don't understand, Will, is if that is your argument for why it's okay to cut him, then why is it okay for the 2 kickers that came in to replace him to miss their 2 first fucking kicks? Like, your argument is counteracting your point, right? Or am I just losing my shit? I don't know.
No, I think you make a good point. And he had a down season last year by his standards, obviously.
Yeah.
But I like that, you're coming at it from the standpoint of we're not just going to look at the counting stats and take them at face value without a little bit of context.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like baseball. Like, you're just going to see a batting average, and it's just not going to tell the whole story.
Yeah, a quarterback's completion percentage can be
right.
very.
I look at Justin Fields. This isn't like bashing Justin Fields, but his stat line from yesterday was like 3 for 3, 100-something yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 of those touchdowns were passes behind the line of scrimmage. One of which was actually a pretty bad pass to DJ Moore, where DJ Moore made an incredible play, weaves through the defense, scores a long touchdown. It's like, okay, it's preseason, especially and people are clipping like every quarterback's drop back in these games. Just watch it, just watch it and try to, figure this out for yourself. And it kind of goes to Russ too, in a way, because he has some plays where he's just blown up before he can even process what's in front of him. Gets a drop from Jerry Jeudy. And meanwhile, he makes a nice throw in the middle of the field a couple of times. And no one's really harping on that. And all that comes out after the game is Russ is still washed, and he was the problem. Hackett wasn't the problem. And, you have the Cardinals social media team posting and deleting a video trolling Russell Wilson after a preseason game where I believe he exited with the lead.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to the Cardinals, like, this is probably one of the only games they'll be winning this year. So
yeah, that's a good point.
they got to take advantage.
I think they're upset because people were getting on Kyler Murray quite a bit for his outfit before the game.
Sports bra.
The sports bra, yeah.
See, I support the support bra. I think it's a cool look. I want to see more quarterbacks rock that. But I think I was mad at how many people thought that was funny, that tweet.
Which tweet? Oh, the Cardinals one?
Wilson tweet.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Like, if it were really funny, I would give it credit. It just feels like it's the lowest hanging fruits, right? At this point,
that's what it's been for a year, almost a year.
Like, and they could have still used. I'm saying they could have still used Russell Wilson as the joke. If you don't know what the meme is, it was the girl on the airplane meme when she's yelling that the person isn't human, and she looks back and it cuts to Russell Wilson and they keyed him out of when he's doing the sliding workout with the football in his hand. So it's Russell Wilson on the airplane. Makes sense. Russell Wilson has a relationship with airplanes. All right. We know that. I got it. I got the Russell Wilson airplane. Okay.
Very nice.
But maybe just like, I don't know, add your own actual twist of humor on there. You know, maybe there's just give me a surprise back there. And it's not just you ripping off another it's like just combining two memes. To me, that's not a good joke. It's just smashing two other people's works together.
Yeah, it's like a Family Guy cutaway.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know, I don't have a joke that's relevant to the, you know, characters or the plot. But I thought of something funny that's a complete non sequitur. So let's do that.
Yeah. Anyway, what I want to also continue with the kickers here for a second.
Yeah.
Two things. One, I'm not even saying that Elliott Fry or Brett Maher, either one of those guys is capable of having a very good season kicking for the Broncos. And the preseason is where you figure that out. You're trying to figure out who's the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to trust Sean Payton and the coaching staff to evaluate and make that decision. That's very possible. But I worry about when a guy's first opportunity to impress the team and prove to the fans that he's the guy, he misses. I don't care that it is preseason. Like for a kicker, to me, whether it's preseason or regular season is irrelevant.
Yeah, it's just not. It's as close to an isolated outcome as you can get in the sport of football.
Because it is like that first kick, it's high pressure, right?
Yeah.
I'm not understating what the pressure is there for that guy, but that is exactly the kind of moment you need that person to perform. And so Brett Maher misses the first one. You're like, oh shit, this is a bad omen. Elliott Fry comes in, and then they asked him to do it. It was like a 50-yarder. So it's a long kick. But he actually has no pressure there because the guy he's competing against just missed it.
That's
and
a
then
good point.
He misses it too. So don't even give a shit that he made I think it was a 55-yarder was the second one.
Yeah.
You talked about the footing on the field might have been an issue. We'll give him that benefit. I think the second game will be important, but those two things do actually concern me. And I say that as someone who has been frustrated watching Broncos games because they lose the games. Most of them over the last 2 years have been very close.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I just feel like we're going to see the same thing. And now instead of blaming it on Russ or whatever, it's going to be our kicker at the end of the game, Viking us, being like the Vikings joke over, you know what I mean? It's like, can't make that kick when you need it. That scares me a little bit. So, and I just think replacing kickers is tougher than people want to believe.
No, absolutely. It's such a risky proposition. Like you said, when you don't have a plan in place and you're not going to draft a kicker either.
No, that's the other thing.
It would have been really hard to draft a kicker because I think the 49ers, it might have been their first pick in the third round.
Yeah, I think so.
That they took Jake Moody. It's like, okay, if you're going to draft a kicker, you want the best kicker in the draft. Otherwise, what's the point, really?
Yeah.
But if the price tag for getting the best kicker in that draft class is a third rounder and you already don't have a first rounder, that's going to be pretty hard to justify.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then you get to the stuff where people are speculating that Sean Payton doesn't like McManus because he's kind of a bigger personality than his role on the team may justify, depending on who you talk to. That all makes it a little trickier. And if he ends up, crushing it this year and, Brett Maher can't make an extra point, it's going to draw some criticism, obviously, of Sean Payton.
And it's like McManus, maybe he's bad this year in Jacksonville. If that happens, if he has a terrible year in Jacksonville, then Somebody please call me out, remind me, and I will eat my words. I will gladly eat my word. Like, I say dumb shit all the time. I'm fine with it. I'll admit that I'm wrong. I just don't feel like I am here. And I'm actually rooting for Brett Maher to be the guy who makes the team over even Elliott Fry, because I love a redemption story.
Yeah, and we know that he's got a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
Too, as a kicker.
He's got a stronger leg. He had a great regular season with Dallas. Like, Cowboys fans were like, he was really good until that game. It just happened to be that game was primetime playoffs, and for kickers,
yeah. And the thing about that too is that's our last memory of him on the Cowboys. It's not like he had that bad stretch and then played another season and kind of got back to normal.
Yeah.
Like, we're banking on that to be just a blip on the radar and not this career derailing case of the yips like Rick Ankiel pitching for the Cardinals, to the point where he has to switch positions, except there's no, position for Brett Maher to switch to on the football field.
I will punt now.
Well, Riley Dixon, he looked okay, right?
Not his first punt.
No, not his first punt. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. That stuff will get better.
Fake punts. We need to run some fake punts with him this time.
Hell yeah.
That guy can throw and run.
I was excited when the Broncos drafted Riley Dixon. I was like, oh, dude, this guy can hurdle dudes. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and just last thing, our kickers, then we'll move on to some positive shit. Like, I just don't want us to be focusing on negative after we're bitching about people being negative. Then I'm the hypocrite.
This show is all about hypocrisy.
If the Broncos had drafted a kicker like you're referencing to, I'm willing to like work through the ups and downs of a rookie kicker. You expect them to possibly, kind of struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you're cutting a veteran dude and then bringing other guys in who have been around the block, you expect one of those guys to be, solid. That said, positives. Right away, Alex Singleton, thank you. You look good. You look good.
Yeah. I think he tweeted like he's in mid-season form. Put him on ice.
He was all over the place.
There's a reason he's the 7th best player in the league, as voted on by the players.
Voted on by the players.
The players.
Who else do you like from the game, Will?
Well, I'll tell you, Ben DiNucci didn't look so bad.
No, he looked poised.
And I think that goes to show, like, he was pretty awful the last time we saw him in the NFL. And he gets that off-season experience and builds some confidence and just, I think most importantly, get some reps, some live action. And that's the great part about the XFL and the USFL too.
Yeah.
That these guys actually, get to see some live rounds, and it's going to make – there's so few good backup quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah. To me, the NFL should be using the XFL and the USFL to just keep their backups like in tune. You know what I mean?
100%. They should absolutely like think about subsidizing those leagues to keep them running.
Yeah, it's like I want those leagues to provide chances for quarterbacks who might not be even getting a look by the NFL for backup jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben DiNucci, let's just say he keeps playing well. He's so good. They move him to number 2, and they're like, we don't even need Jared Stidham. Or they're like, we like both of these guys. Jared Stidham looked way more rusty than DiNucci did. And it's like, we still believe in Stidham. Let's send Ben to the XFL, Jarrett to the USFL, have both of those guys ready. And like, if you have a team that has a good quarterback who, hurt frequently, and you need that backup, you're relying on backups year to year.
Yeah.
It would be a smart way to keep those guys game ready.
Well, it's good. It's good business for the NFL too. And it's a reason why, they changed the rule to allow a third quarterback to dress, because that Eagles 49ers NFC Championship game was unwatchable after Brock Purdy got hurt.
It was. It was terrible.
And so you can't have that in the second or third biggest game of the year. It behooves the NFL in every way to have better backup quarterbacks, better depth. It's going to make the preseason a better, more watchable product. We're going to get to know these guys. Like if you watch the XFL or the USFL, you saw it with, and I guess to some extent the CFL with Nathan Rourke kind of coming out of nowhere and throwing the greatest touchdown pass in NFL history.
In NFL preseason history, I don't know if we'll ever see a play better than that.
No, I don't think so.
The Nooch, he looked good. Samaje Perine, it looked exactly like what you wanted him to look like.
Yep.
It was hard. It was hard to keep track of all the running backs, if I'm being honest, because you don't see a lot of games where like this many different backs get carries, right? But Jaleel McLaughlin, he scored the touchdown. Tyler Beatty got a good amount of carries. Virgil had that, that one nice play. So I don't know. I think we need to see more. I don't even want to see Perine get any more carries. Like, I don't need to see any more. I watched him in Cincinnati for the last 2 years. I want to see Javonte. He's supposed to get some carries this coming week, but like, just let me see more of these other guys. And I want like the number 3 guy to emerge. I just want to feel it and know he is that third guy.
Right. I mean, because Javonte and Perine are kind of similar in a lot of ways. And Perine actually is a pretty good receiver.
Yeah, we've seen him take a screen to the house against the Chiefs. So
yeah, he kind of saved that game for Cincinnati. They were down bad at that point, and they really needed that. But you want a shifty guy, and it's going to be kind of a 3-man race between Beatty, McLaughlin, and Tony Jones.
Yeah.
So I kind of have my money on McLaughlin.
Ooh, they'll spell his name right this time.
Or maybe don't, just keep the G on there. He scored a touchdown.
Jaleel McDonald's. Jaleel McBride.
Danny McBride's brother.
Yeah. Okay. Receiving. Anything stick out to you? We talked about Troutman. He looked good blocking, and he looked like a decent receiver too. So Troutman, he surprised me a little bit.
I would say Judy. I think people were really upset after the drop, but he's just so good at getting open.
Yeah,
and
scored a touchdown very next play. And Russ went right back to him. And there was like a soundbite or after the game, Russ told him, like, I'm going right back to you if it's there. So I like that for your quarterback-receiver relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like they have more trust than a year ago. And you could see that too. As last season wore on, Judy turned into the unquestioned number 1 receiver. And he's still just like, dude, if you get him one-on-one, like he's just getting open.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this will be a popular take, but if he drops a few passes, he drops a few passes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like you almost just have to learn, and that narrative gets blown out of proportion because it's like 2 bad drops in the same game, so it looks worse.
Yeah.
What receivers who get thrown to a lot will have more drops. And you keep going back to them though because they're so good. So yeah, it's like you just kind of learn to live with the fact that he might have a drop in the game. But if he follows that up with a big play or next series he makes up for it, then fine.
It's great if you can catch every pass. That's great, but the hallmark of a great receiver is not the 0 drops.
Correct.
Necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, the elitist of all of them, yeah, they make all the catches and they get open and they turn small plays into big touchdowns. Judy's not one of those guys, but he can be one of the top receivers in the league.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those guys I'm talking about, greatest of all times. Elijah Garcia, never heard of him, made back-to-back sacks from the defensive interior. I was like, okay, that would be extremely helpful if the Broncos had some dominance on the interior, because I feel like they really haven't had that for a bit.
No, and it's concerning too, I think, with DJ Jones getting a concussion.
Yeah, it's a weird position to
linger.
get concussions too, I feel like.
Yeah, it's sort of like a micro impact kind of spot on the field, but it can happen anywhere.
Yeah. So, and it's concerning in that now I think DJ Jones, you just let him rest the rest of the preseason.
Of course.
But, he gets a concussion now, he's more likely to get another one. So hopefully it's not a significant concussion. Hopefully that's not the case, but I understand why your concern is there. I thought Bassey had a nice game.
I did too.
He made a couple plays. I think Chris Harris was like calling him out on a play, and then Justin Simmons tweeted back at Chris Harris saying like it was a miscommunication. He was supposed to have help ease off him or something. I don't remember that play. I remember him making a couple tackles in the first quarter. He had the pick, but then like when we were watching and you pointed out his that weird kick that the Cardinals had, and he was the front line on the kick return, and the ball just hit him. Like it just lasered and hit him, and he recovered it. Just savvy special teams play. So,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of he's been around for this is like his fourth year, maybe third year.
Yeah,
I think he's been around for a while.
He got hurt in the middle there somewhere.
I can't he's on the Chargers for like 2 days randomly.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like it was whatever season the Broncos had like an ACL tear every week. I think he was one of those guys, but I could be wrong.
You see that graph?
Nito made a little pressure.
I was going to say, you see that graph about ACL tears by year?
Yes, I believe so. Like the Broncos having all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of them.
It's just like, come on. We got to do something about that. Anyway. They have Jonathan Cooper's number wrong on here. It's number 0, not number 53 anymore.
Yeah, that stood out. Seeing a 0 out there.
I liked Henningsen, too. I thought he made a couple nice plays, including the half sack with Nick Bonito.
Yeah.
They really need someone like Henningsen or really anyone on that interior to kind of step up, because obviously Uzurike is not going to be back anytime soon.
Nope.
Not that he was a world beater.
Nope. He wasn't an odds beater either.
Bang from downtown.
Montreal Washington, solid, returning. I thought he looked better.
Yeah, he deserves a shot.
So
we didn't see the guy that they got from Houston, right? To return Trevon Smith.
Oh, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
And then, of course, so Maher missed both kicks. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember a second field goal.
I think I do.
I was a little drunk.
Wait, I thought he made one of them.
Was that just Fry making the second one, or I thought?
No, I think there was one that like barely snuck in. Remember?
Yeah, I feel like
we were watching one and we thought he missed it.
Let's see here. I have the video.
I guess it's 0 for 2.
I can connect it, and we'll see.
Okay.
Let's see if I get copyrighted.
Probably
lose all the money we would have made.
Which would have been thousands of dollars.
All right. It was later in the game, right?
I thought it was earlier, but I could be wrong. He made an extra point, I think, is the one that we're thinking of that he snuck in.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember a second field goal getting missed.
Let me try to find it on the play chart.
Tell me what the TC is. That's time code. And then, of course, the Broncos lost because Cardinals scored a touchdown at the very end and went for it. Went for the 2-point conversion, which, if it were down to the running back, Will, on my lower pick'em,
yeah,
the guy who carried in that 2-point conversion, that put him over in the point total. Luckily, I'd already missed. But if I lost my higher or lower because their running back scored a 2-point conversion, I would have lost my shit on the final play of the game.
Okay, so
that would have been a bad beat.
Maher missed. Technically, it was blocked. 2:45 in the third quarter.
That's right. There was the block in the third quarter.
Yeah,
I think this is it right here. No, that's the Cardinals.
Almost there. There we go.
There we go.
Hitting him at number 6, collecting all these picks.
Oh, yeah, 3rd and 24. We didn't want that. There we go.
Including a first-round pick.
This will shake it up a little bit.
First-round pick and their third-round pick.
This is what we need to innovate the podcast.
Yeah. Make less money. Okay, so this.
Blocked. And that got blocked.
That would be it. Okay. Let's see here.
Getting a hand
Laces
on that
out.
field goal.
Kicker's wearing like these numbers, like 16.
Try from Maher.
Oh, yeah.
Right on the hand. You put that on Maher, you put that on just a good play by the Cardinals.
Optimistically, I'll say it was a good play by the Cardinals.
Yeah. Because that was a longer kick. I remember talking about trajectory. It now. I defended him during the live stream.
Again, I'm just going to blame the field. I'm going to blame the field no matter where they're kicking.
Yeah.
Could be on the best turf God's ever seen.
This was not.
It was obviously it's concerning. Better now than in the regular season, obviously.
Yeah, let them work through it. I know I don't like it, but I'll be reasonable.
Okay, but his trouble in the playoffs was not necessarily just with field goals. It was primarily extra points.
There was like 3 extra points he missed in the field goal, I feel like.
Yeah. Maybe 4, honestly. And he hit his extra points in this game. So something to be said for that. Just bring back the short extra points. I don't think it made the game better.
No, it doesn't at fucking all. You want to really piss me off? Let's talk about
it. Did kind of get us to the Super Bowl that one time, though.
Yeah, it fucked Belichick over. And he was like the biggest proponent of it. But yeah, it doesn't make it better at all. Again, my solution's the best. Short extra point, 1. If you want 2, it's a 50-plus yarder to kick, or you can go for your traditional 2-point conversion. Boom. Then you got sexy options there.
Okay, but the Ravens are getting 8 points every touchdown.
That's fair play to them. They got maybe the best kicker in NFL history.
You're really going to see some kickers getting drafted higher, I think.
Yeah. You might even have specialists, guys who can just kick very long field goals. But I don't know. Make the game wild.
Make it crazy. I mean, people were probably saying this when they brought in the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, I think we covered it. Wednesday, don't forget, Let's Talk Broncos, and me or Will or all of us will be here Wednesday. I don't even know. We'll check with Willie. But Let's Talk Broncos. Make sure you sub to their YouTube channel. They do a great job with their pods. They do multiple Broncos podcasts every week.
They're smarter than us.
Smarter. Try harder.
Yeah.
You know.
Better rapport with one another.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Over the airwaves, maybe.
Yeah.
When you and I get together, though,
Did you feel were you a little bored during the live stream because I just had to keep reading super chats over your face?
No, I liked it.
Okay.
I liked that it was over my face.
There was so many supers. I was like, man, I hope Will's not bored because I kept interrupting you to read the chats too. I'm just like, you got to do it though.
Yeah,
man.
no,
So
no, we have to stop and read the comments that give us money. Oh,
fuck
too
yeah.
bad.
Also, I put the anybody who wants to play in the Patreon fantasy leagues, that info's on Patreon. It's on the That's Good Sports YouTube community tab for YouTube members, so check it there. Wednesday, Will and I will see ya. That's it.
See you guys.
You smell like you about to get pregnant, Will.
Right back at
Ooh,
you.
is that our new sign off?